Retiree health insurance, you're going to love this. After July 1, 2011, any new hires, no more retiree health care. Now, sisters and brothers, the whole concept between a union is workers standing together to protect themselves, right? That's the whole concept. That's what solidarity is about. You might say, well, if it ain't going to hit me, then why is it a problem? I'll tell you why it's a problem. Because not only do we have a collective obligation to protect ourselves and our families, we have an obligation to make sure people that come in behind us get to enjoy the same benefits and privileges and protections that we fought hard to get. Am I wrong on that? No. Am I wrong on that? No. Thank you. And then lastly, retiree insurance, they want you to pay more. Now, as I look at the numbers, if they were to get their way, you'd lose anywhere from 6, 8, 10%, depending on what pension plan you're in, so forth and so on, depending on what health care, whether you have health care, because some of our folks get it through a loved one, on and on, or retirement from another job. But if you can afford to lose 1% of your wages, raise your hand and we'll give it back to them. I didn't think so. Didn't think so. So here's where I am. They're coming for us. And if anybody doubts that, please do yourself a favor. Open your eyes. Open your ears. Start looking around. Go talk to the neighbor down the street that's in foreclosure. Or go talk to your cousin over in Cleveland that just lost their job. Or all the other pain that people are suffering in this damn country that we call America. And then let's have a real conversation. Because regrettably, we still have people in this union that think they're going to get it. The county's going to give it to us anyway. Yeah, believe me. We have people that believe that. Let me tell you something. There ain't nothing you got that many of us had to fight tooth and nail to get. Now we're at a point where we're going to have to fight harder to keep it because they want to take it from us. Now I got a question to ask you all. Are you going to let them take it from you? No. Are you going to let them take it from you? Hell no! We're going to draw a line in the sand. Because if we don't fight as hard as we can, and if we don't fight together, because we're all in this together, and I'm sick and tired of hearing members bellyache about what this union does, or what this union doesn't do, or I'm this, so I'm better than them, or I'm superior because I do this. That's bullshit. We're all in this together. And we have an obligation to ourselves and to our families and to our grandchildren to fight like hell to stop this. Now, we're up for the fight. Because they're bringing it. Now, they're going to test us, and they're going to test us hard. If we're not prepared to fight back, they're going to take us down. They're going to take us down. And I can't stop them alone. My staff can't do it alone. The executive board can't do it alone. And the stewards can't do it alone.
What can we do?
We're going to do it.
That's right.
We're going to do it, and Josh is going to explain that to you. But let me say this to you. You've allowed me, and I mean this sincerely, the honor and the absolute privilege of leading you for a long time. And this is the life I chose. Because trust me when I tell you, I could be working a whole lot less, making a lot more money. And that goes the same for all my staff. They're smart people, they're bright, they're enthusiastic, and they put their heart and soul every single day, 24/7, working to protect you and your families. All we're asking in return, because we're going to keep doing that. because that's what's in our heart, because we want to do it. All we ask in return, that when it's time to fight, that you, your loved ones, your children, your cats, your dogs, whatever you can bring to the table, is at the table with us. Now, I don't think that's too much to ask, okay? Now, let's talk about what happens if we can't cut a deal. We have a plan that we're unrolling at the county to get rid of all this ugly stuff and to save jobs. The jobs is number one. But there's a limit to how much you pay for jobs. And let me explain what I mean by that. If you continue to pay your job and pay by, giving back money on a permanent basis, giving back reductions in your health care and retirement, that's a spiral we'll never get out of. Because once they get a taste of that, we're going to keep getting that, and we're going to keep losing jobs. You understand? So there's a limit to how far we can cooperate in that regard. I know that we got to save every job. And I'm proud to say that all the years that I've led this union, and I don't know, 10 or 12 years of rifts and all those sorts of things, last year was the first year we actually lost bodies. And it was only 6. 6 more than I wanted. But given what we were up against, only losing 6 people, and they left because they didn't want to be here anymore. The jobs available to them they didn't like, so they moved on. So we've done, in my opinion, a masterful job of protecting jobs, and we're not going to back down now. But sisters and brothers, we cannot let them start chipping away at our money and start taking away our benefits. We'll never get it back. We'll never get it back. So saving jobs and status quo is the line we're drawing in the sand. Now, here's what we put together as an alternative. We have, let me explain this to you. It gets a little, the math gets a little, it's pension stuff, and if I start getting over your head, please ask a question. I'll try to clarify. But I'm going to explain it in a way that I believe most of you will understand. Our pension plan has a pretty sizable deficit. It's about, we're underfunded to the tune of about 25, 26%. But on a national level, compared to other states and counties and municipalities, we're on the top percentile. We're holding our own in this environment. It didn't happen by accident. I serve as the co-chair on the pension plan. In March, I should become the chair, albeit management's going to try to block that because there's never been a labor leader as the chair of the pension plan. You know how these folks are, they like to control stuff. Well, we're going to fight like hell to make sure I get that chairmanship, not because of me. I got enough stuff on my resume, because of you. You deserve to be in charge for a change, okay? You've earned that right. So we're going to fight like hell to make sure we're in charge of the pension plan, at least for the next few years. Now, remember we fought to get more union representation on the plan? You guys remember that a couple contracts ago? And we got it. We only used to have 1 seat for all the 3 unions. And now we got 3 seats. Each union has a seat at the table, us, FOP, firefighters. Why was that important? Because those people are the ones that decide how to invest the money. And if the money is not invested strategically, the pension plan can go down. And, you know, Google how many pension plans have gone down, and you'll see a long list of them, private and public sector, because the trustees didn't pay attention. And it's important that you have people on that plan that have you and your families in their hearts when they make those decisions. And we forced a dramatic change in how we invest our money. They were very conservative, on and on and on, and we weren't making a lot of money. Every time we lost a lot of money, it'll be okay, no, it won't be okay. We've got to change course and come up with a different plan. So we went from passive management of the plan to active management of the plan. In other words, all the trustees are hands-on. We hired professional, smart, young, professional financial people. The pension plan hired them, and we assigned certain investments to each one of them. One just deals with emerging markets, foreign investment. One deals with real estate. You get the picture. And these people are smart. And we, as a team, actively manage your assets. I'll give you an example of what that means in real money. Last year, because of the way we now more aggressively manage the fund, we knocked down 14% in interest. That's pretty darn good. Now, are we going to be able to knock down 14% every year? No. But every time you knock down 14% or 10%, you're above what the experts say you should get every year. Every year we should get 7.5%. So every time we get above that, it's great, and it helps strengthen the plan. But even with those changes, we still have some challenges in the plan. $140 million a year goes into our pension plan. $20 million of it comes from the workers. 120 and some change comes from the county, and that varies year to year based on how much money we made the year before. If we made a lot more than we expected, we can lower it a little bit, so forth and so on. But here's the problem we have. The county's contribution, about 120 on average, 61 million of it goes to paying down the debt, pay the debt on the plan. In other words, just paying the interest on your, if you looked at your charge card account and all you did was pay the interest, you can imagine how long it's going to take you to pay off the bill. Josh told me to explain it that way and make it more simpler. I think he's right. So that's what we're doing. $61 million a year, we're just paying that interest. But we're not getting anything for it. So our plan is to, and if we keep that up, it'll take us 18 years to get where we need to be. Well, let me tell you something, and I'm not saying this to alarm you. We don't have 18 years. We just don't have 18 years. What we need to do is to get rid of that debt as quickly as possible and get this pension plan up to 100% funded. Because that's the only way each and every one of you has a high probability of getting a benefit, okay? And what we're putting on the table is a proposal to use the $120 million that the county puts into the plan differently. Start expediting the payoff of the debt, maybe reduce that from 18 years, maybe down to 9, whatever, and do some other things that strengthen the plan, and then use a little bit of it to balance the budget this year, because they're looking to get $25 million out of us. And you know, we can give up the tuition assistance, we can give up the increment and all that other stuff, but it's tough getting $25 million without giving up bodies or across the board pay cuts and things like that. So we have a plan that we're putting on the table, and we think that it'll work. And the pension experts that we met for 3 hours with think it makes sense too. Now, the challenge is this, and this is what I told Ike Leggett in a private meeting. Your decision is a political one. We're giving you a way out of this mess without hurting our people any more than they've been hurt. And we can save jobs, we can avoid all these crazy takebacks and reduction. If you work with us, we can get this done. But you got to decide, is it your intent to leave a lot of blood on the floor so you can make a political statement that you took on the unions and you beat them up? Or is it to work with your workers through their union and give them the respect that they earn and work in partnership to solve a mutual problem?